First question, is there anyone who likes to talk about security? Really? Nobody? I'm asking because according to my experience, when you need to talk about security, it's not always a pleasure. It's not like about when people is coming to you, it's not starting like, let's talk about security, or there is something interesting to discuss regarding stuff. It's rather like, oh, we are in trouble. We need to do something, right? No, I'm trying to talk about this in a pleasant way. So there is no trouble yet, but we are trying to prevent troubles happening. At least one aspect of it. This is about content security policy, CSP. I hope you are interested in this as you are here. And in summary, like the agenda, I want to talk about the main threat that we are trying to defend our portal or sites against. I want to talk about a solution, a tool that can help you defend your sites. I will talk about the configuration, how to make it work within the Liferay. Hopefully it will be simple. I will talk about one aspect, the nonce, which is one of the most important thing in it, I believe. I will talk about a recommendation for the rollout, how to work out your CSP rules, directives, and how to make it work. However, it always can happen to make something wrong, so I will talk about how to make the things work again if something went wrong. And I will talk about some best practices and the key takeaway. Okay, at first, one of the biggest threats that we can imagine is the XSS, cross-site scripting, which is about that an attacker or simply another end user can put scripts into your sites, even through a comment or even in a web content. Your administrator can put some scripts that when other end users is visiting your sites, the script runs and can do rude things. The browser will let these scripts run because it thinks that the script is coming from a trusted source. And actually, this is what the CSP is supporting. The content security policy header gives options to you to say from what sources you allow the browser to load the scripts or style sheet elements. So basically, with this, you create an allow list of the sources and you delegate the control of them to the browser. But the CSP is not only protecting against XSS, because with some other directives you can use for the CSP, you can have a protection against clickjacking too and data skimming. So it will be at least harder to steal your form data or end users' form data or bank account data and so on. As for the configuration, it's really not complex. Basically, you can configure the content security policy for your sites and actually within the portal on 3 levels. You can configure this on each level where you can configure a host or a domain for your portal. These are the system, the instance, and the site level within the portal. You can find the same configuration screen at each of the levels. In the security, on the control panel for the system settings and instance settings, you can find this under the security section. And within the site menu, you can find also under the site settings. What you need to do, you need to enable the feature, because without that it won't work. By default, it comes in a report-only mode. By default, the content security policy actually is a header in the response, and the name of the header is content security policy. If you keep this checked, the report only, it will turn into a report-only mode, of course, obviously. And the header changes to content security policy report only. And with this, you can investigate. Once you apply a set of directives to the browser, you can check what happens afterwards, because it's really easy to make your portal stop working. I mean, in this way, not in general. So this is for troubleshooting. I will talk about it later. The next one, the text area, is for the header itself. Here, you can list any of the directives that the CSP can give you with the attributes these directives can take. I will show some examples. The last section of the configuration is about excluded paths, which is that if you would have some integration or widgets you are using in the portal, and this is absolutely not CSP compliant, because it happens sometimes, especially with the old developments, old applications. You can put their URL pattern here in these boxes. It's good for phased rollout, where you can close out these parts of your product, which is not CSP compliant, while you are eliminating the problems. And once it starts working with the CSP, you can remove the path, and it works. So it's with this you can secure the working of your portal. There is one last step we still need to take, though. We are releasing the full support for the CSP, the basic directives, in the next release. But there is still one part we need to complete, because our integrated editor, the CK Editor 4, doesn't support CSP at all. We have been working on that to change the version 5, which already supports the CSP fully. But we still need to take some steps to integrate this in each of our functions. Hopefully, we will be ready with that soon. But till now, unfortunately, you need to use the unsafe inline for the script SRCs and style SRCs. At the styles, there are some tricks to separate the style SRCs to different elements, and there you can use our next tool that I will talk about, the nonce, which is about protecting inline script-based attacks. Because one of the biggest problems regarding the CSP, and actually from threat perspective too, those are the inline scripts within your code. Old-fashioned or historical products have been using inline scripts a lot. And this was one of the biggest challenges at the Liferay port in the DXP also, to make or be CSP compliant with all the inline scripts we had. We solved that on portal level. So just because the Liferay portal, you don't need to use the unsafe inline attribute. For that, we implemented the so-called nonce technique, with which a completely random number is generated and pasted to the header. And that same nonce value is also pasted to all the inline scripts. Once the browser is rendering the page, it reads the head and checks at the inline script level if they have the same nonce. If the nonce doesn't match, the inline script doesn't run. The browser don't let that run. And how you can do that is to put a marker. I don't know if you can read. Actually, there is a nonce marker for the script SRC, and you can put that to the style SRC also. And then during the generation of the page, the server will take care of it. Put the number to the code. Once you decide that to use this or utilize the CSP, I have some recommendations how to do that, because most probably first time this will ruin the things. So it's worth to start with a report-only mode. Then you will get a list of violations in the console, in the browser, that you can analyze. And you can get rid of all of them one by one. And then when you can see that there is no entry in the report anymore, you can remove the check at the report only. You can refine, yeah, and then you can remove. You can also configure to send the report to an external source for further processing, or if you want to have a better process method, you can send the data to there. The report URI is a standard content security policy directive also. Okay, with all that, things may still can go wrong, of course. It happened to me too, multiple times. Unfortunately, there are different ways to make your portal work again quickly. If you can see something like this after saving the content security policy, it definitely means that there are some missing script because of the strict content security policy directives. What you can do immediately, in this case, you can click on the update again, and it will reset the whole configuration and everything starts working again. But there is another way to create an OSGI config file that you can create for each of the 3 levels, system, instance, and style, and you can deploy, and everything gets back to the proper operation. Just sort of summary what I told about with the best practices list. So you should always start in report-only mode. You should always start with some really strict policy, even if it ruins everything, and try to make it wider, step by step. For example, with default SRC none. You can block clickjacking with a specific directive, the frame ancastor, which doesn't allow, it allows only the parent pages that are matches to the attribute to include your portal. So what it means, your portal can be included in an iframe only on such a page that matches the attribute of this directive. It's a protection against the clickjacking attack. Always use nonce for the DXP specific things. As you remember, I mentioned that you cannot do that. You cannot remove completely because of the seek editor, but hopefully we will solve that soon, that problem. You should use the exclude paths as a last resort, and as I mentioned, it's a help for a phased rollout. So you can close out the bigger parts of your product, which you are sure about it's not supporting the CSP, and then you can remove them one by one once you solve the problems at them. And you should re-evaluate your CSP directive list when you change your sites, or you made any change your sites, you should test again and refine if it's necessary. And basically that was all. However, I would like to say one more thing. Don't be afraid of talking security. That's one of the most important. You don't want to say it, but it's there always, and the threats behind that. And especially with the XSS, you have the tool for that for now. And please use and share your feedback. Find me anytime. If you have anything, any suggestion, we can talk. Thank you.
Zsigmond, thank you very much for your keynote. We have finished a little bit earlier, so if you want to make a quick question round, if you want to ask anything, just raise your hand and my colleague will give you a mic. So is there any questions? Okay, front row here.
Okay, sorry, thank you. So few days back I was doing upgrade and so there was some vulnerability. I work for insurance companies mainly. So we work in VFSI domain. So one of the largest insurer denied integration of their backend system with the customer that we are working with. So they have said that you haven't enabled the same inline and that property, and we had to enable that. But in our code base, there were a lot of inline CSS on clicks everywhere in the JSPs, in the FTLs, and we had a nightmare to just get away with it. So right now, the CSP that we have in Liferay is beta, right? It's not, with the Q1, it's not available. It's in beta release, right? If I remember correctly.
It will be released in the next one in Q1.
Okay.
So it was beta till now, but we removed the flag and it's in release flag, but it's there in supported version now.
Okay. So for the quick turnaround, what we have done is we have replaced JavaScript or the script tag with AI script so that it's generated a nonce dynamically when it's rendered on the page. But we haven't find anything for styles that return on because we have a large code base and we can't remove all the JS and CSS over the night, right? And so what is the practice so that every script or JS that we have written, I know that we had to remove on clicks, the inline on click from the HTML elements, but I just want a way that so that style and JS can have nonce dynamically, the customer, not the AI script, because that is already adding it's dynamically.
Yeah, for now, I haven't talked about that, but if you, as you said, if you use the AUI tag for the scripts, it generates the nonce automatically. But we don't have yet that for the styles. We don't have that yet, but it's something we can implement soon.
Okay, any more? Yeah, there.
Sorry? I of course, Q1. Is it a question? Yeah, but seriously, backdrop of, sorry. This feature will be released in the next Q1 release. Next Q1, yeah. It was there in the Q1 for this year too, but in beta. And it didn't cover that many things that it covers now. And for now, it will become fully supported.